There's a powerful truth that often gets lost in the noise of the world, and that truth is this: never tell people what you do. In a world full of titles, labels, and roles that others expect us to wear, we sometimes forget that our worth is never defined by what we say about ourselves. It is defined by what we do. It's easy to fall into the trap of defining yourself by your job, your career, or even the things you've accomplished. But that's not who you are. Your worth is not determined by the titles you carry or the things you claim to have accomplished. It is shaped by the actions you take every single day, by the choices you make, and by the dedication you put into your work, relationships, and dreams. In today's world, where people are often defined by their jobs, social media personas, or accolades, it's easy to forget that true value doesn't lie in what you say about yourself, but in the impact you have through your actions. When you tell people what you do, you're often defining yourself through external factors, things that can change or be taken away in an instant. But the way you carry yourself, the way you show up for others, and the effort you pour into everything you do are much more telling of your character and your worth. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be proud of your achievements, but it does mean that your worth isn't dependent on your resume or a list of accomplishments. Your worth is defined by the integrity you maintain when no one is watching, and by the passion you put into your endeavors, no matter how small they may seem to others. Every step you take toward your goals, even if no one notices, is a reflection of who you are. When you focus on your actions rather than constantly talking about them, you allow others to see your true essence. It's through your actions that you build trust, gain respect, and inspire those around you. It's not the title you hold or the job you claim to do that leaves a lasting impression. It's the way you make people feel, the value you bring to their lives, and the example you set through your work ethic. In this fast-paced world where many people seek validation through external recognition, there is profound power in being grounded in the understanding that your worth cannot be validated by others. You don't need to announce your value for it to be recognized. The more you focus on your purpose and keep working towards your goals, the more you'll see that your worth is already reflected in the progress you make and the difference you create. Humility is a quiet strength that is often misunderstood. In a society where self-promotion and boasting are common, humility can seem like a rare and undervalued quality. Yet it is through humility that we are able to truly shine, not by drawing attention to ourselves, but by allowing our actions to speak louder than words. Humility isn't about diminishing your value or hiding your achievements. It's about recognizing that your worth is not determined by the recognition you receive or the applause of others. It's about understanding that success is a result of continuous effort, not a personal victory to be celebrated alone. When you act with humility, you don't feel the need to announce your accomplishments. You allow your work to reflect your passion, dedication, and skill. People notice not because you're trying to get their attention, but because your efforts speak for themselves. Humility enables you to be open to learning, even when you have achieved great things. It allows you to recognize that no matter how much you know or how far you've come, there is always more to learn and ways to grow. It helps you acknowledge the contributions of others and appreciate the collective effort that often goes into any success. True humility also involves being grounded and staying true to your values, even when you find success or recognition. It means not allowing external factors to define you or change your perspective on what truly matters. When you remain humble, you are better able to serve others, to build authentic relationships, and to make a lasting impact without feeling the pressure to constantly prove yourself. You approach your work with a mindset of continuous improvement rather than seeking to prove your superiority or make others see you as better than you truly are. Humility also protects you from the trap of ego. When you're humble, you understand that success doesn't make you invincible, nor does failure define your entire existence. Instead of letting your achievements inflate your sense of self-worth or your setbacks diminish it, humility allows you to stay balanced and focused on the journey rather than seeking validation from outside sources. Humility provides the inner peace to understand that who you are isn't about what you accomplish, but the character you develop along the way. In a world that constantly praises those who stand in the spotlight, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of recognition. We are often conditioned to measure our success by the attention we receive or the validation others give us. But the truth is, true fulfillment doesn't come from external acknowledgement. It comes from the impact we have on the world and the lives we touch along the way. Focusing on impact means dedicating your efforts to creating meaningful change, regardless of whether or not anyone notices. It's about giving your best to your work, knowing that the value you create is what truly matters. When we focus on impact, we shift our mindset from seeking approval to seeking purpose. We stop worrying about who sees us and instead focus on the people we are helping, the positive changes we are making, and the legacies we are building. This doesn't mean we should ignore recognition altogether, but rather that our priority should be the difference we make in the lives of others. Recognition is often fleeting, but the impact you have can ripple through time and affect countless lives, often in ways you may never fully understand. Chasing recognition can sometimes lead to the dangerous trap of measuring our worth based on others' opinions. When we make our worth dependent on how many people notice us, we open ourselves up to disappointment, insecurity, and self-doubt. But when we focus on impact, we build our value on a foundation of authenticity and purpose. We realize that the real reward lies in knowing that our actions have contributed to something greater than ourselves. Creating impact is also about consistency and integrity. It's not about doing something great once and expecting recognition. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and being committed to making a difference, regardless of whether or not anyone acknowledges your efforts. Sometimes the most meaningful contributions go unnoticed for years, but that doesn't diminish their value. The work you do for the right reasons without expecting anything in return is often the most fulfilling and long-lasting. Focusing on impact also brings clarity and direction. It gives you a deeper sense of purpose, as you are no longer distracted by the noise of external validation. You understand that the change you want to create is far more valuable than any praise or applause you might receive. And in the end, it's the impact you leave behind that will define your legacy. When you tell people what you do, you inadvertently invite their expectations into your life. These expectations can be both empowering and limiting, depending on how they shape the way you approach your goals. The moment others know what you're working on or what you're capable of, they create an image in their minds of what you should be able to achieve or how you should behave. This external pressure can be a heavy burden, and if you're not careful, it can begin to dictate your actions, overshadowing your personal desires and authentic goals. Expectations, whether from family, friends, or society at large, can narrow your vision. Instead of focusing solely on your passions and inner drive, you may start to make decisions based on how others think you should act or what they expect you to achieve. This shift can lead to feelings of inadequacy or frustration when you fail to meet these imposed standards. You may find yourself constantly striving to meet the expectations set by others, which often leads to burnout or a sense of emptiness because your motivations are no longer aligned with your true desires. The risk of expectations lies in how they can limit your freedom and creativity. When you're focused on meeting other people's ideas of success, you may find it difficult to take risks or step outside the boundaries of what others expect of you. Your journey may become more about meeting those external benchmarks than about pursuing your own unique path. And as your world becomes constrained by these expectations, you might lose sight of the bigger picture, the one that you've built for yourself based on your values and passions. On the other hand, when you keep your ambitions and goals to yourself, you maintain a sense of control over your own narrative. By not announcing every step of your journey, you remove the weight of others' expectations and allow yourself the space to grow at your own pace in your own way. You free yourself from the pressure to conform to societal standards or live up to a specific image. The absence of these expectations means you are no longer measuring yourself against someone else's yardstick, but instead, you're able to measure your success based on your own progress, authenticity, and fulfillment. By keeping your goals private, you take the power back into your hands, choosing not to be boxed in by the limitations that others' expectations can create. It allows you to explore, fail, learn, and grow in a way that is true to yourself, without the fear of judgment or disappointment. In a world where perception often outweighs reality, it's easy to get caught up in the desire to appear a certain way. We live in a society that values image and outward success, where what others think of us can sometimes feel more important than who we truly are. However, authenticity is the foundation of lasting fulfillment and true success. It's about embracing who you are, unapologetically, and living in a way that aligns with your values and principles, regardless of how others perceive you. When we prioritize authenticity over perception, we begin to understand that we don't need to mold ourselves into someone else's idea of success or happiness. There is immense freedom in being true to yourself, in allowing your actions, words, and choices to come from a place of honesty and integrity. It's about showing up in the world as you truly are, without the fear of judgment or the need to fit into a predefined box. This doesn't mean we should disregard the feelings or opinions of others, but it does mean we must prioritize staying true to our core rather than changing who we are to fit into someone else's narrative. Perception, after all, is a fleeting thing. It's shaped by others' limited understanding of us and can change in an instant. One moment people may view you as successful or powerful, and the next they may shift their view based on their own biases or misunderstandings. If you live for the approval of others, you become a slave to their ever-changing perceptions. But when you choose authenticity, you free yourself from this cycle. You no longer need to chase after external validation because your validation comes from within. You no longer define your worth by how others see you, but by how you see yourself. Living authentically also fosters deeper connections with others. When you show up as your true self, you attract people who resonate with the real you, not with a facade or image. These genuine relationships are far more meaningful and fulfilling than those built on surface-level perceptions. When you let go of the need to fit in or meet external expectations, you allow yourself to create a life that feels true to you, a life where every decision is based on your own beliefs and desires, not on what you think others want from you. This is where true growth and fulfillment lie. When you stop pretending to be someone you are not and start living as the person you were always meant to be. There is a unique power in silence, one that is often overlooked in a world that constantly demands more noise, more attention, and more validation. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's a space where clarity, peace, and deep reflection can emerge. In a culture where people are always talking about their accomplishments, sharing their opinions, and seeking attention, the freedom of silence allows you to break free from the pressure to constantly explain or justify yourself. It is within this silence that you can find your true voice, untainted by the expectations of others. When we remain silent about our goals, our struggles, and our victories, we create room for our actions to speak louder than words ever could. By choosing not to constantly announce what we're doing, we allow ourselves to move at our own pace without the interference of external opinions. Silence gives us the freedom to work quietly, to make mistakes and learn from them, and to pursue our vision without the weight of others' judgments or expectations. In this space, there is no pressure to meet others' timelines or conform to their ideas of success. Silence also allows for deeper reflection and personal growth. When you're not constantly talking about what you're doing, you have the opportunity to focus inward and assess your motivations, desires, and goals. You can hear your own thoughts more clearly, make decisions based on your true intentions, and align your actions with your deepest values. It's in the stillness that you can reconnect with your purpose and realign your path when necessary. This inner clarity is powerful as it helps you stay grounded and true to yourself in the midst of a noisy world. Furthermore, silence enables you to protect your energy. In a world that is full of distractions, conversations, and opinions, choosing silence allows you to guard your mental and emotional well-being. You are no longer drained by the constant need to explain, justify, or defend your choices. Instead, you conserve your energy and direct it toward what truly matters: your work, your relationships, and your personal growth. In this way, silence becomes a tool for empowerment, as it allows you to preserve your energy and focus on your goals rather than being sidetracked by unnecessary distractions. The freedom of silence isn't about withdrawing from the world, but about reclaiming control over your narrative. It's about choosing when to speak and when to let your actions do the talking. It's in this freedom that you find your true strength, moving through life with purpose and conviction without the need for constant validation or approval. Silence, in its purest form, is a powerful reminder that you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Your journey is yours to live, and your actions will speak for themselves. In the end, silence offers us the ultimate freedom, the freedom to be ourselves without the need for constant justification. It allows us to step away from the noise and expectations of the world, to focus on what truly matters, and to pursue our goals with unwavering clarity. When we embrace the power of silence, we stop seeking approval and start living authentically, guided by our inner truth and purpose. Let your actions speak louder than words ever could, and remember that sometimes the most powerful statement is the one left unsaid.